So here we go. I'm recording now. All right, so I'm going to show you live so that way maybe you can actually see what I have. I have my chair. And remember I said you can actually trace some of these things. This is how you actually do this. And you can always use a light box or you could use something underneath to, but I think I could see it well enough. So just come in. Now, remember when you're tracing or drawing a piece of upholstery, it's going to have rounded edges. It's not going to have hard edges. All right. So if you do it with hard edges, it's not going to look right. Okay. All right. So pretty straightforward, right? All right. So when I was talking to you about the analogous color scheme, all right. This is why you use a key. If you decide that, let's say I want to do it in maybe cool greens, right? And I can actually come over here and go, okay, so if I use maybe Celadon and Jade, and then if I add a French gray, so that would be 3 different shades that I have, right? Okay, so 3 different markers. So what I'll start with is, I will start with probably the Celadon, all right? I'm just going to do this so you can, so it doesn't get confusing. And you were saying that you're a little intimidated by the markers, right?
Yes.
Totally get it. You're fine. Most people are. Basically, how I look at these is almost like watercolor in pen form. Because it's one of those things where you can build up your tones. See, if I go over multiple times, it starts to get darker. Now I'm thinking in terms of where's the light going to hit? It's going to hit on that edge. All right. And I'm not worried about leaving stroke marks so much right now. I will later, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. See, on the inside, that's going to be a bit pretty dark. Back here is going to be pretty dark. This would be darker where the arm is going to reflect onto it. See, if I go over multiple times, that color starts to get deeper. All right. Okay, so then I'm going to come back and I'm going to start using my Jade, which I prefer the brush tips. I didn't even know they were a thing for a long time. I think when I started doing this, they didn't have them. But what I like about the brush tips is I can treat it a lot like it's a watercolor marker. Because see how it has that transparency to it? Okay. Okay, so you're almost doing like a tonal study. And then I'll come back in. And all this does, the French gray, rather than just being a pure gray, it just deepens the tone. Now it's still a little splotchy. Like that. Okay, so that's splotchy. We don't really want splotchy. So what I will then do, there's a couple things you can do. Let's just try this. I don't know if this color's going to work or not. Use the side. Okay, don't use the tip, use the side. And then where it's going to be darker, basically you're exerting more pressure to get more pigment. That's all you're doing. Okay, so there's that. Then what I can do is, so that's your colorless blender that you guys have in your kit, right? Okay, I'm gonna take this. And it melts the pencil. It's an alcohol base. Okay, so I just did all that. Key is you gotta clean it, or I'm perpetually going to have a gray and teal on my colorless blender. So when it runs clear, even though the tip is stained, okay, it's clean. There's your markers. Okay, so this is what's called mixed medium. So you're going to be, I used this. All right, so three tones. This wound up being more like a blender. And then I did this to kind of melt it all together. It gets rid of some of that stroke and just softens it. All right, so pretty straightforward. Yeah. Right. So if you're intimidated by the markers, that's how you use them. Okay. Yeah, you basically treat it like it's a watercolor is what you're going to do. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And you layer your colors to get an effect. Okay. That's one of the reasons why I have so many grays. I've got warm grays, I've got cool grays, I've got different tones of gray, whether it's really, really super light or dark. And it's because I use these all the time to just get a deeper tone. And it's not just a pure brown. A lot of these are taupe, or they've got like a yellow base to them. So that's how you start to get this. Yeah. All right. So you do this so you can plan that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that help out a little bit? Cool. All right. Go get them.